Oh, I don't have the, there you go. You got it. You have permission.
Got it.
I'm not the host. All right. So thanks everyone. We'll get started here. We'll let folks trickle in. I know folks always usually do. It's a Monday evening. I know there's like some competing times for other meetings tonight. So I know Randy Hart couldn't make it tonight, but I do believe Randy will want to attend at some point in the future, our incoming district governor. And Sandy was going to call in, but I know she has an installation to leave to for, I think it's Kapolei Sunset later tonight. So hopefully she's able to join in. I know she wanted to give all of our current youth service chairs for the next 3 days a lot of heartfelt thanks. I don't think my email did it all, any justice. Thank you all, for those of you that have been with this committee for the last year, 2 years, 3 years, however long you've been doing this. I think this is going to be my 3rd year. So lots of just thanks from me to all of you for doing really just a great job over the last 2 to 3 years. Not that we weren't doing a good job before, but I think that we were able to accomplish a lot of things with under the leadership of Naomi, starting with Naomi and through Sandy. And I know we'll be able to continue to do great things during Randy's year as well. So there are some new faces, so I'm happy to. I would like our new. Well, why don't we just go around and reintroduce ourselves so everyone has a chance. I know this is going to be a little bit of a hybrid meeting between this year and next year's youth service chairs. So why don't we just go very quickly around the room, introduce yourself, say which club you're from, and then if you are going to be or are continuing on, are not continuing on as youth service chair for the 2022-2023 year. So I'll start for those that haven't talked to me in person or via Zoom. I'm Ryan Shar. I'm the District 5000 Youth Service Chair, and happy to be doing my 3rd year of this. Like I said, I'm also with the Honolulu Sunrise Rotary Club. I am stepping into my club's youth service chair role as well this year because Linda, who's also on the call, will be stepping out of it. But that is my role. So I'm gonna call out your name, and why don't you then introduce yourself. So how about you, Alan? I'm just gonna go by my screen.
Guess that's me. Alan Okinaka. I'm with Rotary Club of Hilo Bay, and I'll be stepping away. Ken Barnes will be taking over the youth services area of service, avenue of service. Enjoyed the meetings, Ryan.
All right. Well, hopefully Ken is joining us at some point on these meetings, Alan, and you've set him up that way.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. How about Linda?
Okay, I'm Linda Santos, and as you already know, I'm stepping off. I've been on for a couple of years, and but I'm still going to help Ryan with some of the things I've been doing. I just can't be the chair anymore. Thank you.
Thanks. And how about the other Linda?
Linda Conboy, Mililani Sunrise, co-chairing with June. We were on the last couple of years, and we will be continuing on this year as well. Pleasure to be with you.
All right, thanks. How about you, Rick?
Rick Tabor. I guess I'm the chair for Oahu Ryla, and this will be, what is this, my 3rd year doing that. I've been on Ryla for 5 years, I guess now. And I'm with Rotary Club of Honolulu. Brian will tell you his story and what's happening there, and I'll leave it at that. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Rick. June.
Oh, June Kasoka from Mililani Sunrise, and again with working with Linda Conboy, we will be co-chairs the next year too.
Great. How about you, Steve?
Hi guys, Steve Dyer, Pearl Harbor. Ryan, I don't know how many years this is, but I've enjoyed them all. Thanks for reminding me. I'll have to find a replacement for next year, I hope. I don't mind doing this, but you know,
You should have already identified that in Club Runner, but hopefully you'll
Yeah,
find
I
someone
should have.
soon. Well, you're
I-
it until you do.
Yeah, exactly. So, Yoroshiku.
All right, Jay.
Jay Satinstein, Kihei Wailea, and this is going on to my second year of doing it, and I've enjoyed it. It's something I didn't know much about, even though I've been in Rotary for 49 years.
Awesome. All right, Dick.
Oh, Dick Bosco. President this year. Unfortunately, the guy stepped away. I'm president again next year. I do have a youth services chairperson, interactive, and it looks like I just contacted a high school principals in a conference, but she wants to meet with us very enthusiastically in about 2 weeks. Set it up at IAN to meet us too. So that we are Fifth Interact Club.
Awesome.
And there's my man Clarence just signed in.
Oh, there's Clarence. All right. All right, Lisa.
Aloha mai kako, everyone.
Aloha.
I'm Lisa Urizeri, and I am fairly new to Rotary Club of Kaneohe. And Barry Harris kindly invited Alita and I to this meeting to learn more about the Youth Services Committee. So looking
Awesome.
forward to learning more.
Welcome. Are you on the board or chair, or are you just listening in today?
I think Alita and I are considering co-chairing.
Awesome. Good. Well, hopefully we can convince you today. All right,
Thank you.
Jen.
I'm sorry, I'm Jen Tenoy from the Rotary Club of Hilo. It's been a pleasure serving with you this past year. And kudos to you, Ryan, you did a great job. I will be bringing on, although I'll still be a youth chair, I'll be bringing on Carrie Hoffman, who has experience with RILA and Interact from Arizona, and now we have her as a part of our club. She has over 15 years of experience, so I look forward to working with her, and she will look forward to working with all of you. Mahalo.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Jen, for your support. Brian.
Brian Dunkel, as Rick mentioned, I'm with the Rotary Club of Honolulu.
Hard to hear you, Brian.
Oh,
Speak
hold on.
louder.
Hold on.
You're the
Is that
district tech
Is
person.
that any better?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think my speaker is right here. Brian Dunkel, Rotary Club of Honolulu, as Rick mentioned. I've been youth chair for 2 years now, and this coming year I'm going to be taking on a different role with the Rotary Club of Honolulu in a sort of newly formed position as technology chair, meaning I know how to do Zoom. And Beth Ann Kozlovich, who was going to join us, but she's en route somewhere, so I don't know when she's going to join us. She's going to be taking over the youth services role, but I'm going to be helping her a lot. I'm also going to be working with Rick as a co-chair for Oahu RILA, which we're going to start doing some serious stuff with in July.
Awesome. You're still a little soft, but I think I got most of that.
Okay.
All right, Tom.
Hi, Tom Riley from Alamoana Club. I've lost track of how many years I've been doing it. I think it's my 4th year coming up. But I'm supposed to co-chair from this year with Lanny Pyatt, but she's not here tonight, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out quite yet.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, Kelsey. Kelsey, can't hear you.
Hi guys, aloha. I hope you all can hear me. I kind of have a spottier Wi-Fi connection. Can you hear me now?
Can hear you now.
Maybe. Okay, so I'm Kelsey with All
right, Kelsey is in a bad internet area.
Happy year. This is my 2nd year, so keep doing it. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Kelsey. I know she's out in very remote area. So, Karen.
Hi, I'm Karen Wilson from the Conamalco Rotary Club. I'm the youth services person for the club. And this year I'll be bringing on a new member, Brian, who's going to be helping and taking over RILA for us. So I'm looking forward to that very much.
Very good. All right, Clarence.
Hey, aloha, guys. Yeah, I'm here with Dick. I'm with Pearl Ridge, the Rotary Club. And for you new guys, don't miss meetings or you might be appointed.
We don't do that now. All right, Barry.
We're having a lot of fun out there working with Pearl Harbor guys and everything like that. So with our veteran leadership with Dick.
All right. All right.
Is he
Barry.
on, by the way? Am I saying nice things just because he's on? I don't know.
He's on, but let's go to Barry. All right, Barry.
Aloha kako. I'm Barry Harris. I'm transitioning. I'm the president-elect for the upcoming year. So I'll be transitioning off the Youth Services Board, hence Lisa and Alita, our club members here who are, I'm hoping will take over as co-chair. Glad to be here. Also with our current district governor, Sandy Matsui, and my longtime buddy, Tom Riley over at Ala Moana. That's where I got my start. Good to see you, Tom.
All right, thanks, Barry. All right, Alita.
Aloha, my name is Alita Sharan. I'm with the Kaneohe Club with Lisa. We're both new, and Barry roped us in, so I'm just attending and checking this out.
All right, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to skip to Nicole.
Hello. I'm Nicole Baltazar. Honestly, I don't know how I started coming to these youth services meetings. Kind of just did, and then I kept coming. So second year, I guess, doing this. Unofficial chair. I'm with Rotary Club Ohana. I'm second year president. And yeah, am I supposed to say something else?
And you are the district Rotaract representative, are you not?
You're right. I am that.
That's
You're right.
important, so that's why you're here.
Hey,
right.
it's still Ernesto for 3 more days.
Okay. And Tim, we're just doing a quick introduction because there's some new faces. Tim, thanks for joining.
Hey, aloha, Tim Hansen from the Rotary Club of Hilo Bay, and I have headed up the statewide RILA virtual conference efforts over the last couple of years. Good to see everyone.
Thank you. All right, so I know, this is the last meeting kind of Sandy's year. We'll have another meeting as the first meeting of Randy's year, but so we'll probably end up going through introductions again next time, but thanks for indulging me today. I think we are a very open and welcoming committee, so glad to see folks join us today. Sandy was able to join during the introduction, so I do want to pass it off to Sandy just really quickly. Sandy, I know you wanted to say a few words tonight.
Aloha, everyone. I'm sitting here in the parking lot in Ko'olino waiting for another Rotary installation meeting to start, but it's wonderful to be here, and I just wanted to say mahalo to the team. This year, it has been an amazing year for youth services with a lot of firsts, the least of which not being our Rotary leaders celebration that we had right before the district conference. We've brought on board 2 new Rotaract clubs. And I know even though with Interact, we've been struggling trying to access the schools, we've created new Interact clubs. So it has been an amazing year. And I just want to say mahalo. And thank you to all of you for serving with Aloha, especially to you, Ryan. Yeah. And to my club members of Rotary Club of Kaneohe, you need to stay on this committee. This will change your life. This committee is amazing. This was the first year I had an opportunity to serve with RILA as part of the coordinating committee. It is the most wonderful experience that you can have, and the kind of service that you provide is what we are all about in Rotary. So I encourage you all. I thank you all. Tim, Brian, all of you guys, you know who you are. I love you all dearly, and thank you for taking me in and being so kind and patient with me as I learned as I learned as district governor how to better serve in the area of youth services with all the different areas. So mahalo to all of you. We've had a great year and it's going to be an even better one next year. Aloha.
Thanks, Sandy.
Thank you, Sandy.
All right. So with that, what a great message. Let's get kicked off here in our agenda. This upcoming August, there's a couple of administrative items I need to talk to you about. So this upcoming August 6th, from 10 to 11, there will be some information being sent out with the Zoom links and everything, but that is when our youth protection training, annual youth protection training is occurring. And so for youth service, this is one of the most, if not one of the most important components of what we do, is making sure that we do things the right way and we make sure that our youth are protected. So just an hour of your club's time, you need to send at least one member. Ideally, it's your youth service chair, right? But there can be a way to step in as a president or whatever role you may have in your club, but each club must be represented. And if you don't, then you're gonna get banned from doing youth service activities in the future. No, we'll get another training or certification time set up for you guys, but please try to make this as simple for Peter Evans, our youth protection officer for the district, continuing on in his third year, I believe. So please make this easy for Peter Evans. He's going to do the protection update on, again, August 6th from 10 to 11 via Zoom. Dick, you have your hand up. Yes.
Yeah. The certification is for 2 years. I've got 4 of our members already certified for this year and next. Do we still have to attend?
This is different, right? So this is for each club to be certified by our district, to be certified to do youth service projects in our district. You're talking about the background checks, which is for individual members. So just a little bit of a difference. Everyone has to do this. Every club has to do this every year. It's not necessarily an individual certification on this one. This is a club certification.
Okay.
So that is a good segue though, as we all know, everyone who's working directly with youth is highly recommended to have a background check, especially if you're like the youth service chair and you have regular contact. Now, we've talked about before that for individual projects where there's a lot of volunteers and several of you are already background checked, if you have club members that are attending that are not background checked, that's typically okay. But for all of us here on this committee that are doing regular work with youth, it's always a great thing to have your background check. As Dick mentioned, it's only good for 2 years. So if you need to check in on the status of yours, please email Natasha Claren at the district. She is able to tell you if yours is current or not. If you have any doubt, you can always email Natasha. If you go to the youth services page on the district website, all the instructions are there for you to reapply for your background check. It is a nominal, probably closer to $20 to $25 fee nowadays, but just depends on how many addresses they have to check. So maybe more. But please identify someone to attend the August 6th youth protection training for your club. The next item I have here is we do have some openings on the district leadership team for certain positions. I haven't filled out my entire team yet. I know Naomi's giving me a confused look, but I have not. I still would like an Interact chair at some point. It would be nice. Right now, I do have Lynn Goya helping in some capacity, but she's honestly a little bit more interested in early act. She's with Mililani Sunrise as well. But I do have other positions to fill on our district leadership team. So if you are interested, please let me know. I know all of you right now, I think, are kind of filling in a role as your club's youth service chair as part of you're hearing what the district is doing here in these meetings. But if you are just aching to take on a leadership role at the district level, please let me know. I know many of you already do, and this committee does take on a leadership role kind of in of itself. But if there's something, you're aching to get more involved, please let me know. I'm gonna, I don't know why it's missing from my agenda, but I'm gonna mention one more thing. For all of you that do have Interact clubs that are active or inactive, even if it isn't inactive, you do need to make sure that your club's contact and advisor information is updated on Rotary International's website. So even if you haven't been as active with your Interact club, I suggest you still go in there and identify an advisor from your club and update the RI's database. And maybe if Naomi has a free moment here, she can post the address into the chat. But if you do not keep this database active in RI, your club may be inadvertently moved to an inactive status or a terminated status, either of which, well, it's a lot easier to reactivate if you're inactive. If you're terminated, you're gonna have to go through the whole certification process again. So please, if you have an active or even inactive Interact club, please go in there and update your club's advisor and contact information. And I think I sent out the list of district clubs. I sent out the district-wide list of clubs with the email. So you should be able to see which clubs your Interact clubs your Rotary Club is sponsoring. All right, any questions on that? I know we've done it for many years already, so it should be hopefully secondhand. All right. All right, I'm gonna jump into updates on our programs and policies this year. This year we had a little bit of a challenge getting the college and career readiness webinars going. We had a lot of great programs. There were speakers from Oceanet, we had speakers from nursing, we had educational speakers. Just as I mentioned in one of our past meetings, just not a lot of engagement, I think, and participation from our clubs, our youth clubs, for this kind of virtual presentation. So this year, we had talked a little bit about doing this differently, either trying to do these more in person or maybe relying on each of the individual clubs to reach out to their Interact clubs and schools directly to handle some of these college and career readiness seminars or webinars. And so like in the past, we've done making your college application stand out, or we've done financial literacy for our students. And this, it's been geared to our 10th graders to seniors in high school that are moving off to college, to try to help them, stand out, do well on their applications, do well on their interviews, and find a career that's meaningful to them. So I'm gonna try to see if we can pivot our focus on this, so we're not necessarily holding these webinars for 15 students, on a regular basis. But what do you guys think about topics this fall? I'm looking at you all in this very interesting immersive view, but what do you all think about the value and the impact of these webinars? Do we continue to offer something in financial literacy, which I felt was very well received? And then do we maybe offer something in like resume building and mock interviews as kind of a real straightforward way and wide appeal, kind of, a wide ranging appeal to our students? Or should we kind of put it back on each of the clubs to figure out what each of their schools needs? So Brian mentioned that, his son said, he was glad to have attended the financial literacy one. I always think that's something that's kind of easily doable in a kind of a more remote virtual setting, and should be something that's of value and appeal to our high school students. But, I'm happy, we never did these before the pandemic, at least for the district-wide virtual setting type of webinars. It was more up to each of the clubs to do. If it makes sense, I think the district and my team on the district would be better suited, or maybe better suited, coming up with some of the criteria or the curriculum for some of these events, and each of these clubs figure out whether or not your Interact Club wants to host one of them. And we can do it on a more intimate level. All right, Jen, what's your thoughts?
I just think that the kids were sort of zoomed out. I think these topics, the trainings are great and valued. It's just they had so much Zoom. So what I'm hoping for is that you continue it, and as the kids get more of their in-person meetings and being able to socialize and have that, then I think they would recognize the value of these trainings and more attendance should come out. What would be also great is that if we had a district calendar with the trainings that we could just Zoom over to them so they can put it all in their calendar from the beginning of the year.
Okay, thanks. I do recognize there was a lot of Zoom fatigue last year. We all felt it. So I do think an in-person, I think Kelsey, you mentioned in the chat here, an in-person option would be something that would be obviously, I think, a good thing. I'm just gonna read your chat really quickly. Individual clubs hosting financial mentorship programs. So I think that that maybe is where we'll focus our efforts this year. If we can get some experts together with some curricula, if we can try to do one on each island maybe and try to invite students in person to it. If they're, maybe even if not, we can still broadcast it over Zoom, but let's still get folks in person on that island, in a room, watching the same presentation on a projector. As Brian mentions in the chat here, a hybrid type of scenario. I think we definitely could make some of these hybrid financial literacy events work out for us. All right. Any other ideas that or topics that folks feel are so a couple of other topics has been the college admissions process, right? So going through, so Naomi just put it here in the chat. This is what we had on tap. We had a college applications process, admissions process, I mean. So an application process, talk a little bit about, tips and tricks for speeches, essays, applications. And then we also had another event in September, tentatively scheduled for a financial aid. Both also very good, high value, I think, presentations. Just want to make sure that we make it valuable and effective for our youth. So should we look at maybe, Naomi, trying to do that in person on Oahu with a hybrid ability to present that out to our neighbor islands? Is that something that we, as a committee may believe may be worth something to our students statewide?
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right. I'm relying on all of you to spread the word to your Interact clubs and your high school contacts. So, I think no point in Naomi and me really trying to dig in and try to grab all these speakers and topics and curricula if the Interact clubs aren't going to be able to support via attendance. I think the attendance is something that we really struggled with last year. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Ryan, I know last year for the ones who did attend the summit, it got very, very high reviews. So hopefully word of mouth will spread. I know when I was at Castle, there were some of our students who attended and spoke very highly of it. They were a little hesitant at first because it's just, something they're doing on the weekend and that's their weekend. But once it was all said and done, they were really glad they attended. I think also if there is a possibility of simultaneously broadcasting to neighbor islands, that would be great. Again, in my experience and other aspects of student involvement, having that option was really great for the ones who obviously weren't able to make it to Oahu or any other neighbor island for that matter. So just a little feedback from my experiences at the high school.
Appreciate that. I think it's it's important to hear that. I really agree with you. I think the presentations were great. I think the folks that attended got a lot of value out of it. It's just a matter of spreading the word, making sure that folks feel comfortable and don't feel Zoom fatigue and are able to make it. So why don't we do that? Why don't we do, let's I'm gonna put that on my task list here to try to get some folks here volunteering to help out Naomi to get these September 3rd and September 24th events going. We'll try to do it in person for this island. So sorry for our outer island folks, but we will definitely run it hybrid. And then I think depending on how we can do this and how this process goes, I would like to try to find some folks on the outer islands to put on a very similar presentation for their islands if they aren't able to kind of join in from the first hybrid meeting.
Ryan, this is Alan. Jen mentioned about being zoomed out. I think that's probably the case here, is that even if you do it on Zoom, you have to be there at a certain time. So it might take a little production work, but if we took those different topics that we want to have for our youths, produce a video such that the youths can link into it whenever they are available to do that. If they cannot watch the whole hour, for instance, they could stop after 15, 20 minutes and restart the whole thing later on. And I think that would be a better way to get the information out.
Sure. So, maybe doing some production level recordings of this September 3rd and September 24th event where it's an in-person meeting, it's interactive, it's fun, and then at the same time it's recordable, and someone could easily share that with some of our outer island students or virtual students. We can definitely try to plan for something like that. All right. So I'm gonna move on from that topic. We have a long agenda and it's already 6:04, but I do want to say, at some point during this year, we will also be looking at probably another Toastmasters partnership or program event. As for those of you that don't know, Toastmasters is a Rotary partner, official Rotary partner. The two organizations have come together to create their own curricula to assist with teaching public speaking skills, running a meeting. We could do something for Interact clubs where they teach our Interact clubs how to run an effective meeting. So those are some of the benefits of that Toastmasters. The Toastmasters was supposed to help older Rotarians run the meetings, but I'm sure we can definitely transfer that over to our Interact clubs. Sometimes I do feel some of our actual Rotary meetings need help too, but that's not here nor there. But we will be looking for something like that probably towards the later part of this year, early next year, calendar year. All right, I do want to move on to the Young Leader Celebration. Sandy did mention very briefly that this was our first ever one. It was a great event. I think considering we had a pandemic and Zoom fatigue, and it was right around graduation and all these other things, we still ended up having about 90 attendees there in person. And, four, Interact clubs represented in person with a lot of attendance, but we also had some from YK sign up. Jen, I hope some of them were able to review the recording. And then we also had folks from RILA and HRYF kind of also HRF affiliated in there too. So, I thought it was a great event, fun event. I know Central Middle School's Interact Club, or I'm saying the old name of the school, but I apologize, but I can never pronounce it. Central Middle School's Interact Club really enjoyed themselves. They really don't have a lot of chances to be out there in that type of event. So I thought it was, great that they were, the district was able to host them at this. We ended up giving out $1,000 worth of awards thanks to First Wine Bank and Naomi. and her chasing down those donations. And so all of you who had a part in that, planning all that and getting that going and off the ground, I thank you. All to say is that we're going to be trying to do this, and I'm going to say try, but I'm going to commit myself as much as possible to do this next year in our second annual Young Leaders Celebration in Hilo as part of the district conference in Hilo. And so I'll be working with the DISCON team this year and some of our Hilo clubs to make sure we can find a venue and a place to do it. It'll be really critical for our Hilo youth, our Hilo Interact clubs, to be there and show up in person and show up in force. I've already told my Roosevelt Club, Interact Club, and they are already wanting to fundraise to travel to Hilo to attend district conference. So I'm really hoping that some of our on-island clubs here on Oahu, or even our other Kauai clubs or Maui clubs, even find it in themselves to make it to Hilo for a Young Leaders Celebration. So more to come. Nicole and our Rotaract teams did a great job planning everything on the logistics side. And I think from this year, they have a good blueprint for the program side of things on that Young Leader Celebration. And so Nicole and her team will be hard at work planning that this year. So hopefully, I just want to put out the promotion, the plug here that all of you, whatever, regardless of what island you're on, please join me in supporting this important event. It is a time at the end of the year where we can celebrate all of the good work that our youth clubs do in Rotary and interacted in Rotaract. So any questions on that?
Hey, so Ryan, you know
Yes.
that Jen is co-chair for the district conference, right?
I
And
do.
You saw she was writing stuff down, right?
I saw that. She smiled at me and I said, oh yeah, she's on the committee. So yeah.
I didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but that's okay. We'll get it done.
We'll get it done. But I do want to, so I'm going to skip around if there's no question on that, I'm going to skip around on the agenda to a very important piece of the agenda, which I think ties very well into the Young Leaders Celebration that we do want to do next year, which is that this year, thanks to the generosity of Rotary District 5000 and the district grants team at our district, we have 5 grants of $500 each to award to Interact clubs within the state of Hawaii. And my stipulation here is that one grantee has to come from each county. I'm going to say county because we do have clubs on Lanai, et cetera, et cetera. So one from Maui County, one from Kauai County, one from Oahu, Honolulu County, one from Hawaii County. And I'll have one extra to give out. And this group here, I'm going to look to call for volunteers from this group to help be judges for those grant applications. So if you're interested, please send me an email or chat as being part of the grant selection team. But the grant applications and grant process has not yet been prepared. I'll be working on that in the near future here in a month. But the goal would be to get a grant application out to the clubs by the end of September at the latest, because that is kind of when each of our Interact clubs I know are a little bit more active because they usually take August to kind of get started. But again, a $500 grant, $2,500 total for 5 Interact clubs for 5 projects. And the projects criteria will be very similarly kind of loosely based around how the Youth Empowerment Service Awards were structured last year. What is their, what's the community impact? What's the engagement of the club? How is it engage others outside the community or in Rotary? And how was it publicized? And so very similar to our Yes Awards last year, we will be awarding 5 projects funds in advance to do good work. And I'm hoping that there's also a lot of tie-ins to RILA. I know RILANs come up with projects every year at their RILA events, but never really seem to have the support to get them off the ground. I know a lot of it is based off of their own leadership and their own initiative, but at the same time, I do believe that Rotary as a district, we have the opportunity to help support them. So even if some of our past Rylands from 2022 are in an Interact Club and they have a project idea that they had from RILA, that's a great way for them to get some funding for their project this year. But one key component is that they have to be part of an Interact Club. I do highly encourage each of you as Rotarians and Rotary clubs to support this grant program by matching funds. So my club, I've asked my club in their district grant program to match some of these grant funds to, if Roosevelt is selected, to get some of these projects off the ground. If not, then we'll use some of the funds from my club to do other projects. That's fine. But I do believe that for any of you, if you are so fortunate to be selected as one of your Interact Club's projects to be a recipient of the grant, to throw some skin in the game from your Rotary Club. And I'm going to be asking all the Interact Clubs to fundraise themselves to throw some skin in the game as well. So we can just extend the reach of these projects, right? So imagine a project having $2,000 to spend to make a difference in the community, and it's youth planned, youth led, youth organized, and youth executed. I think those are going to be a very important piece of it. So, any questions on the grant fund availability? I know there's not a lot of details yet because I haven't prepared any applications yet or any criteria, but I am working on it. Clarence, you got your hand up.
Yeah, is it possible to combine some of our Interact clubs for a single project or community event?
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a great question. I hadn't considered that. Maybe I'll put it out to this committee, this group. Does anybody have any objections to that? What I will say is that it would be restricted to, obviously we want each island each county to have its own, so we wouldn't be looking at like a statewide, although that could be something in the future I would totally support, but this wouldn't be like a statewide, maybe we would say that your Interact Club can combine with only one other Interact Club to try to make this as equal and fair as possible. Does anybody have any objections to that?
But the reason why I asked that is our club had focused on Pearl Harbor, and many of our schools had different sections of it, but it's basically Pearl Harbor. We're looking at the bike path cleanup and taking off invasive species. So all our clubs are doing it together. So, but there are common supplies that we all need and things like that grant can help.
Yeah, I think the purpose is to award an individual club the individual Interact Club the grant of $500. But I do believe as many Rotary clubs and Rotaract clubs that want to support that one Interact Club, I'm all for that. Absolutely. So I don't think that would be a problem.
So Ryan, what we've done in the past is they can combine, but one club has to be the lead. So
Right.
it's submitted by one, and then you have partners, but the maximum would still be 500.
The maximum would still be 500, right? So that, so just to clarify again, if I'm hearing what I'm hearing, is that the Interact Club, we're only going to allow them one, or are we going to allow the Interact clubs to partner? And there has to be a lead Interact Club.
Yeah, so they can partner. I mean, if we want to add that to the rules, they can partner,
Okay.
but just one has to be responsible and submit it, and they can just include the other ones as partners.
Okay. Does everyone agree with that? I don't have a problem with it, and I think that would probably help, generate some partnerships and communication and interest. All right, I will write that into the criteria and the rules. Any other questions on this? I think this is a unique opportunity. I think the better that we collectively do as a youth committee on this year, and we show that it is very, very needed monies that help our youth do great projects, we can build Interact Club membership. We can build Interact Club engagement. We can restart our inactive Interact clubs. The more we make this successful, the greater chance we have of doing this next year with district grant funds too. This is kind of an odd year where there's some extra district grant funding that district was so generous to send my way. All right. I do think that there will be a lot of interest though. I know Roosevelt and the Pacific are very interested already. So okay, I'm looking forward to it. All right. Moving on, I'm going to do a quick update on HRYF. Jeff wasn't able to make it today, but again, it's the new year for HRYF. Please make sure that you pay your dues when the dues letter comes out. Everyone to participate needs to pay their club dues to participate in our HRYF scholarship programs. So there'll be more to update as we go through here, but just make sure again you're paying your club dues, and don't forget to fill out that form that you get at the start of every Rotary year.
Ryan, Steve Dyer is the new president for HRYF.
Oh, okay.
There's a new rule, this year. If you don't make your $20 per capita by June 30, 2022, in a couple of days, you will only get $2,500 to give out next year. If you make your $20 or more, you get the $5,000. So any club, there are about 12 clubs, I believe, that haven't made their $20. So if you think that you didn't make it, you need to get that money in like now, right, Steve?
Yeah, including mine. So yeah, we had to hustle.
So I haven't seen anything on my email chains. So hopefully that has gone out to the club presidents though.
Yeah, they were contacted. The clubs that didn't make it were contacted. But the thing is, if somebody got the email and didn't respond and didn't tell their club members, then you're going to be surprised next year.
Steve, if you want to send that to me today or tomorrow, I can just do a quick check-in with some of those clubs.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, good to note. But
Ryan, would you like a copy of Jeff's email to the HRYF folks?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ryan,
All right.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Jen.
How would we validate that if we know our club didn't or did?
When you say validate,
how would I know if Rotary Club of Hilo gave? Do I just contact the president?
Jen, I would suggest that you contact Faith McFatridge at HRYF. So if you just Google HRYF, it'll come up her email. She's the administrator of HRYF. She's the one who keeps track of such stats.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. And then hopefully when Linda sends me the HRF email, I'll be able to do a quick check as well.
Thank you.
Jen, for Hilo, as of end of May, you were 44, so you guys are okay.
Oh, thank you. Done.
And we got a list, Ryan. We got a list of all those clubs who did and did not, and the amount of money. Also, if you only are eligible for $2,500, then your student's not eligible for $10,000. So I'll send that to you from Jeff.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Linda. All right. Let's talk about RILA this year. So there's I'm going to talk really quickly about junior RILA because that's coming up quickly. September 10th, 2022, virtual for our middle schoolers. So everyone, please, I hope, I know district grants were already submitted, but hopefully in there, with emails from Joanne and myself, you were able to get in a quick $100 to support junior RILA and get, our middle schoolers the opportunity to attend a leadership training on September 10th, 2022. It's about a 3-hour program, keynote speakers, facilitators. What they need right now are facilitators and volunteers. So if you have a club and are able to help facilitate and volunteer at this event virtually, please go to the website and sign up. I know Joanna is going to be sending out some requests, but that is something that they do need. They do set up, little groups, family groups of students, and so each of those groups does need a facilitator. So it is a very kind of mini RILA setup. So Please submit your $100 donations if you can to Joanne. The instructions for that invoice were sent out previously. And I can resend that to you all if needed as well. And then if you do have the opportunity to help facilitate that day, please sign up as well on the website. Naomi had created that website on Club Runner, so it is up to date. And
I've never seen that invoice yet. Dick Boss,
okay.
Ridge.
All right, I will resend it. I think I sent it probably end of May, so probably in the whole shuffle of the district conference. It's been a while, so I will resend it. All right, Ryla, Tim, any update maybe on a statewide side, or if not, I know each island has its own Ryla committee. Anything to share from our Ryla teams today?
Yeah, we're really excited and hopeful that next year in February, each of the islands will have our in-person Ryla camps once again. We're trying to coordinate, so that's over the same weekend. And the statewide committee is very happy and lucky to have some carryover funds from this last Ryla year. So we do plan to do a virtual statewide aspect to the Ryla camps. The planning committee has been talking about whether that might be before or after, or maybe before and after, to kind of sandwich in the camps. We learned that having that statewide aspect of students connecting with one another across the islands was really, really, really important. So even as each of the islands plan, or each of the counties plan their camps, again, we're just having that to be part of it as well.
Great, appreciate it. So I know there is a reservation at Camp Homelani. Rick and Brian have kind of taken that in for Oahu. I know Big Island, I think you guys have set up your locations as well, right? You got that all settled. I saw in the chat, Brian, I think I heard there would be a new Ryla Char Kauai too. I heard that as well. Does anybody have an update on who that was? I will go check. I will go trace that down. And then Maui, is Maui set up too, Tim?
I'm not sure where Mary is at on Maui. I know they were challenged in regards to their location. Yeah.
Okay, but Mary Albitz is going to continue as the Ryla chair for Maui.
Yes.
Okay, great, awesome. So each island is moving forward. Each island's chairperson is going to set the pricing for your event, but it is going to, obviously this is in person this year, so it's going to be more, hopefully in your district grant requests and in your club's purview, you have the ability to sponsor students, because I know in the past, some of the funds, some of the costs to attend this camp, which is a great, I always hear really great things from my students about Ryla. Just they have a great time. They make a lot of friends. They learn a lot of leadership skills. But it does cost money, right? So I think it's been, anywhere from $150 to $200 in the past. Not something that's easily obtainable from our students, especially for our ones in more disadvantaged areas. So please find it in your Rotary clubs to help sponsor students to attend.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
So I've sent a couple emails, but the question is really about budget, how we set the budget up. So I've sent you guys the invoice from Camp Homelani. They've kindly left the cost the same as it was in 2019 when we put the down payment down. And it's February 17th to the 19th. But as far as budget, how do we actually go about doing that? I think would be the team to ask. Thank you.
So specifically, just to kind of follow up on that, I don't know, can you guys hear me?
That's better.
Specifically, we're wondering, like, is there a district account that we work with each of the islands, and then each of the clubs send to that district account? Because like the last couple of years, it was clear there was a district account and that was it, because we were all virtual. But now Rick and I have been tangentially involved in the prior, island with Oahu, but we weren't really involved in like who did the financial stuff, and so we're not sure how that all works. So we're hoping someone can enlighten us how it is we go about managing the finances.
And we can do that separate of this if we need to wrap up, but that's just our question as we know the year is wrapping up.
I'll just say quickly that here on Big Island, the 3 Hilo clubs have kind of rotated the fiscal responsibility each year. And so we kind of pass on the books and the budget, and any carryover funds goes to the next club. So that's how we've organized it here.
In the past on the Big Island, you would leapfrog it with Kona, right, Karen? So you guys would take turns between Kona and Big Island, East and West. So Brian and Rick for Oahu, so every island takes care of their own Ryla. So Oahu, what we did was we did it through the district account, and we have budgets from prior years at Camp Homilani if you want to have that. So you guys want to do this separate outside of this meeting?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
We'll
find you, Naomi. We just now learned you have the information we're looking for.
Well, Rick does too, because Rick was, well, anyway.
We all seem to join this committee during the pandemic, it feels like, but so we all are used to doing it a little bit differently, but we'll get back to doing this in person. All right, so look forward in this committee to hearing more about Ryla this year. And again, keep your eyes peeled for students to attend from your active Interact clubs, or anyone who you feel would be a good candidate for this leadership training opportunity. All right, just a couple of other just real quick announcements. We're gonna this year with the preference and I think promotion of doing things more in person. I'm trying to get back to doing joint projects, especially around Rotarians Gives Thanks Day, which I think is on November 26th. And then Rotarians at Work Day, which is on April 22nd. And I'm gonna try to partner with our district's community service team to do some joint projects that maybe we could have around each region of each island, and have our youth please join those projects where they can meet other Rotarians and meet other Interact clubs. And so, I think in general, my goal before the pandemic was to try to do more joint projects, try to get our students interacting with each other and other schools, and trying to make planning some of these events a little bit easier on each of our clubs. And so I'm going to try to do that again this year as kind of a roll into doing things in person a little bit more. But keep those 2 dates on your calendars, please. And that pretty much covers my agenda. So again, just to reiterate, update your advisors on RI for your Interact clubs. And even one thing I forgot to mention, if your clubs don't have active leadership transition plans for your Interact clubs, try to figure that out over the summer. So hopefully you know who your incoming Interact club president is already. I've met mine both, so hopefully you have too. But please, I think this club really, and this committee, really, my goal is to get our Interact clubs up and running again and active. Happy to report that we have a new club in process at Pacific Buddhist Academy. And that's going to be with our Eco Club. So there, like Sandy said, there has been activity, just a matter of all of us championing that and finding a way to get our clubs active and engaged and started again. So that's all I had for today. I do maybe want to recognize one last thing, and maybe I'll have Naomi maybe talk a little bit about this, but Farrington High School's Interact Club got a Rotary Days of Service certificate. Can you see that? And so congratulations to Farrington's Interact Club. Naomi, do you want to just say very briefly a little bit about it?
Yeah, sure. This year's president, Rotary International's president, has this thing called Rotary Days of Service. And so what you need to do is there's a brochure that tells you what the criteria is to get the certificate. So it has to be more than one club. So it's joint clubs, or you with a partner, or with us, we partnered with Interact. Has to be a project based on one of the focus areas of Rotary. You got to put it in Rotary Rotary Showcase on the Rotary website, and then mark it as a Rotary Club, a Rotary Day of Service, and you get this nice certificate. So if you have any projects that you've done with another partner or another club, and you want to do this, just go to the showcase and put it in.
And I think it's just, Barrington was very active this year. It's been great. I think, the point also is, I know recognition is always nice, but it also helps, as a motivator for all the clubs to get going, do a project, do something, because there's plenty of ways to be recognized. I know recognition isn't always the primary focus, but it's nice to be recognized. Congratulations to Farrington. I know that this helps motivate them and energize them for the next year as well. So thank you. All right. We're 3 minutes over. Any last questions or comments? All right. Well, again, thank you all for a great year this year. I look forward to our upcoming Rotary year with Randy. As Sandy mentioned, we're going to do great things again this upcoming year, and it's going to be all thanks to the hard work that you all have done and are setting up for your future incoming chairs. So thank you. If I don't see you again because you're done with youth service, hope to see you around Rotary. I'm sure I will. Don't be a stranger. Be at all the youth service projects and support your incoming youth service chairs as much as possible, please.
I want to say something, Ryan, real quick.
Yeah.
Tim Hansen has offered and agreed to be your Big Island contact for the Youth Leadership Awards for DISCON 2023. Yay, thank you, Tim.
Wow, you're very efficient. You've already passed it off in the meeting. You figured it out. Delegation, the best thing about Rotary. All right.
Thank you, Ryan. You did a great job this year.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Go have a great Monday evening. I'll talk to you all soon.
Aloha.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Ryan.
Bye.